Where she's called. She goes wide.
Then at this point, I was so furious. And I remember getting out there, car, my baby on my hip, and I ran up to my car, and I remember the dude was sitting on the bucket upside down. And I was like, who got this car? It's like, my, we got that car for the night. All right, that's my car. He said, well, you ain't getting this car back. And he said, out there, bucket, put my keys on his lap. I don't know what killed me that night. I was so mad. I snatched my keys off his lap, and he jumped up. And I said, what you gonna do? Shoot me in front of everybody? Well, shoot me then. And he looked, and I got in my car and I drove off. I was so mad. And I went to his mama's house and she came back with me to pick my car. But at that point, I had my baby on my hip, ready to go. I was just frustrated. I can say that being a young wife and a mother, that was the toughest time for me, going through school and trying to maintain and putting a show on and showing up every day. Showing up every day as if I had a perfect life, but it was crumbling. And it's by, when they say the grace of God, I feel like just thinking about it, it makes me know and it confirms more and more for me that I'm destined. Because it ain't no way in the world I'll be in school, morning sickness, all night long at home, can't miss class. I was sitting in the front of the class with a Sprite bottle on my desk, running to the bathroom, going up and sitting back in class. Too weak to lift my head up, but I'm listening. Couldn't take no notes, but I'm listening. And every test we took, I passed it. And I'm the type of person, I have to write repetitively to learn. I have to rewrite over and over for it to lock into my mind. Couldn't write, couldn't take nothing, but I showed up. I kept showing up, kept showing up. You have to show up. I don't care what it looks like, how hard it get, you have to show up. Had I not passed nursing school, I would say me and my babies would be in the projects, because I don't know what my life would look like outside of it, because there was no other option for me that I knew of. And so after I graduated, I got my first job. I worked my first year at a nursing home, and then I went to the hospital because I could make more money then.
What hospital was that?
That was Park Place. Yeah, Park Place. And it was at that time he asked me for a divorce.
So what?
He asked me for a divorce.
Come again?
Yes, ma'am. All the shit I went through with him.
Goodbye.
You heard me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I got divorced young. Yeah. And the crazy part about it, I remember going to have my gallbladder taken out.
Your gallbladder?
I had to get my gallbladder taken out. And I remember my daddy telling me, when all this stuff is over and done with, you're going to go put child support on that boy and you're going to file for that divorce. I'm like,
He
you gonna bite the bullet and pay for that divorce. And what I did.
You did what your dad
Did
told
what my
you.
daddy told me.
You didn't want to.
I didn't want a divorce.
Why?
I didn't know nothing else.
Oh, wow. So let me ask you this. You said your daddy was a preacher. So was a lot of the religious practices did that have anything to do with your decision too? As far as staying together?
It did, because growing up, especially in the church, we went to church a little bit in North Carolina, but when we got to Texas, it seemed like church became more heavier in my family. And listening to, the preachers preaching how important not having a child out of wedlock was. You know, it made a big decision on a lot of young women. And so for me, being young with 2 kids, a divorce ain't an option. Like, I'm going to be less of, you know? So
even though everything is
even everything was shitty, I'm going to be less of who's going to want a young, a middle to late 20-year-old woman with 2 kids.
who's gonna
Who gonna want me? So no, I didn't want no divorce. But guess what? I found a sucker that wanted me with 2 kids. And that didn't get no better either.
not this. Did you have a moment where it was just you and your first 2 children? Like, did y'all have a like was just y'all just to kind of give yourself a woosah moment and figure yourself out and what you know?
I just say when I meet women who go through a divorce and they're distraught because I've been there and so eager to jump back in and find a man because they want somebody to love them, I tell them all the time, take time to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Learn, understand you. Don't rush to jump back in. And that was the biggest mistake I made because 1, you carry all the baggage with you, and 2, you're not healed or you're not even trying to because you don't know what it is laying in the bed. And I remember it because it was a king size vintage brass bed that we got from an estate sale. Even we had the mattress. Now you ask me now, I wouldn't sleep on that fucking mattress back then. We ain't know shit, you know. But I remember laying in that bed and I was crying. And my son was 3 years old and my baby girl was 1. And I remember she was in front of me sleeping and he was behind me. And I was just crying because I'm like, how could you just leave us? You know, I was crying. And I wanted to be held so bad that night. And I was just crying. Now I remember my son put his little hands around my neck and held me. And I just melted into my son's arms. Aww. And we never had a moment to where, okay, kids, it's just us. Like, I didn't have it. And telling my dad he wanted a divorce. I remember I got the phone and I was crying. And I had wrote him a letter apologizing how I could be a better wife, but that's how easily he was to switch the turntables, always making me think it was me. He was very manipulative, making me think it was me that done something wrong when it was really him. He could turn them tables quick, and here I was apologizing, wrote a letter how I could be a better wife and mother, and he asked me for a divorce. I was crying, and holding, I was holding crying, and I called my daddy crying, and my daddy's exact words were, so what you crying for? And I was like, what do you mean without crying? What did you want to do for? All right, get what you want. He said, but you gonna dry your face, put makeup on, and go to work because you got kids to take care of, and you gonna find somebody that's gonna love you and them kids. That was my daddy's exact words. And I'm glad them words stuck in my mind to this day. And that's exactly what I did.
It ain't necessarily it's soft. But damn it if it ain't effective.
It was. I dried my face, I put makeup on, and I took my ass to work like it was any other day. And I kept doing it, and I kept doing it. Hurting, kept doing it, got their money together, paid for their divorce. He didn't even show up to court. And he didn't run they wanted it. And then look, and you know the cold part about it, we tend to want to hold on to motherfuckers that ain't good to us. You know, fast forward now, this joker doing very well for himself. Engineering, diversity committee, making big money, like doing wonderful for himself.
Oh, that's
you
good.
know,
It's good for the kids.
It's good for the kids, and I can remember being pregnant with Jasmine. And you know, you have to go through all that testing at a certain point in your pregnancy, and they called me. We both were sitting down looking at TV, and they called me and said that I tested positive for gonorrhea. And I was like, you got the wrong person.
That's what you told your people. No.
Got the wrong number.
Oh.
They was like, no, we got the right.
They said, no.
I said, no, y'all must have got our test mixed up.
No.
And I got off the phone with them. And I told them what he said. And that's how gullible and naive I was. Like, I didn't give you nothing. You believe me, huh? Yeah, I believe you. But that's what I wanted.
You know, and I'm always one, and I know people probably just be ready just to slap my ass sometimes, but when you think back over situations, don't get me wrong, the other person is always, they're going to play their part.
Right.
But at the same time, you're going to play your part too. And I wonder sometimes in these kind of situations, what's more detrimental? Them playing their part or you playing your part in it? Because ultimately, all of us are accountable to ourselves. And so, though, he may have had all these behaviors going on, looking at the situation, had you felt more self-worth, would that have even mattered? Because he could have been playing his part all alone by himself. You know what I'm saying? Even the mistreatment of it all. To me, it's almost like we help in the mistreatment.
I would agree with you on that 100%.
To an extent. Let me just say that to an extent. I don't want to what they would call victim blame. But
no, and I don't see it as that. This is my perspective and how I see it. Because I'm knowing what I know now, I'm most definitely a firm believer that he came into my life for a reason and for a season to teach me what I need to be taught to grow. I believe that I was supposed to learn some things from him to carry me into the next phase of my life. And I think the thing that I was supposed to learn from him, I didn't learn. So I linked up with this second husband, and it took me a long time to learn. And the thing that I learned that I was supposed to learn from him, that I didn't.
Come on.
And I fell into this marriage, and I didn't. I've learned it. It took me longer and harder. But for me, I needed to learn self-worth and self-love. And that's something that it was tough because I would be the one to say, I love me, I value me. And I'd be quick to go off and tell my homegirls why I see them doing dumbass shit when it came to the dudes. But here, I wasn't even doing it because I didn't know how. So I do believe that the part that I played in this had a much more huger impact on my life in a negative way than the part that they played, because I'm the one who chose to sit in it when I had a way out. And I didn't take my way out because of, one, fear of what society was going to think of me, fear of what the church was going to think of me, most importantly, my family. And then also, I don't want to survive without somebody else. I need this person to live. In actuality, I need this person to live. Actuality, I didn't need neither one of them. And when I realized it, I feel like they're the ones who needed me because I didn't recognize my own work. They see it before we even see it. They always do. And because they see it before we see it, I have to do what I have to do to keep you at your lowest, because that's how you can operate. I can put functions and operations in place to make you work optimal for me, but not for yourself. So once you realize your own value and your worth, I don't need you. I see your game. So therefore, let me work on getting me to the level that I need to be. Now, mind you, to anyone who's at that point in their life, you have to understand that it's a whole program that's been played against you from this person, whether intentionally or unintentionally. you have to learn how to reprogram yourself, and it's not easy. It takes time. And I'm learning it as I go. Like it takes time to build yourself up to get you to where you need to be, because it took time to break you down, whether you took part in it or they done it. It took time to bring you to your lowest. I feel like we all are born with this spark in us, and you either have somebody that's gonna add to it to make you bright, somebody that's gonna throw shit on it to dim it, and it's to me there's no in between. Yeah, I do think that I played a bigger part in my situation, because I could have got up at any chance and left and done things differently, but to be honest with you, I didn't know how. I didn't. And I didn't have anybody telling me how to do differently. I can honestly say from conversations that were had, that empowered me. But as far as my mom, most definitely no. It was always, girl, half a man better than no man, and with have sex with him, girl, he gonna go get it from somebody, but to get that man sex. It would be to the point I would literally lay to the side because I didn't want to do it. Well, here, go ahead. He was content with that. And I wasn't, but because of my mama telling me, you better get in there and sex. So I didn't know how to be strong outside of being attached to a husband that wasn't treating me the way I was supposed to be treated because of what my mama would tell me. And of course, in church, there's reasons why you're supposed to divorce. And if you ain't going through that,
right,
you can't leave.
Yes.
Yes. So, and you don't want to be disobedient in the eyes of God. So I need to stay and endure this.